We start with the Dolphins, who benched Tua Tagovailoa for Quinn Ewers today. New on NFL Live, here's Mike McDaniel.
The decision is complicated but simple. The simple piece is I think Quinn gives this team the best chance to win. Zach will be backing him up, and Tua will be the emergency third. Starting with Tua, it wasn't easy, for him to hear. I think it was, a tough conversation, but also I think he exhibited what makes him a captain and a leader on this team, and how he's going to help, Quinn prepare for his first start.
Adam Schefter with us all hour long. Take us through, Adam, how we got here with Tua and what's next for him and the Dolphins.
Well, Laura, we have a situation where right now Tua Tagovailoa leads the NFL in interceptions, and the offense has struggled at times. Clearly, you were there in Pittsburgh on Monday night to watch it. The Dolphins have seen the same. They've pondered some of these changes and wondered when it might be the right time. Mike McDaniel thought about it this week, slept on it last night, and decided this morning that it was time to move on from Tua Tagovailoa, which is a seismic decision within this organization, considering that he has $99 million due to him, essentially, in salary cap money here. So if the Dolphins were to move on from Tua, there would be a $99 million cap charge. There are the figures in what is now the most important numbers game that the Dolphins can play. They owe him automatically $54 million guaranteed next year. There's an additional $3 million guaranteed that becomes guaranteed on March 15th this year. If they cut him, it would be $99 million in dead money. They could spread it out over 2 years and make it $67.4 million in 26 and $31.8 the next year. That would seem to be right now the most logical course of action. We've seen teams absorb big salary cap hits before. The Jets did it with Aaron Rodgers, $49 million. The Denver Broncos did it with Russell Wilson for $85 million, $32 million, which is still counting against their salary cap this season when they currently have an 11-game win streak and are the AFC's #1 seed. Of course, they did hit on Bo Nix in the first round. They have a great defense that helped bail them out. And the Dolphins are going to be facing difficult decisions and obstacles as they look to dig out from under the Tua Tagovailoa contract here in the future. But when you bench a player like this, the chances are his future there is bleak, if not over. Tua recognizes that. Everybody's at a crossroads, and we'll see now where this goes with Quinn Ewers as the new Dolphins starting quarterback, Zach Wilson as his backup, and Tua Tagovailoa serving now as the Dolphins' emergency #3 quarterback.
Dan Hawk, Field is here. Field, was this the right decision for the Dolphins right now?
Yeah, so clearly time. 15 interceptions for Tua, Schefter mentioned, most in the NFL. For whatever it's worth, Tua threw all 15 of those picks when facing zone coverage. He's not seeing the field well right now, and when he gets under duress, he has limited to no escapability, and that has led to other bad decisions, like the one you're going to see right there, just a bad sack on Monday night. But the reality for Miami, as Schefter mentioned, they're probably going to have to move on from Tua this offseason. If there is one sort of silver lining that they could potentially approach, it's this. If Tua is still healthy and upright by the start of the league year, and if you keep playing him, you risk the fact of him not being healthy, maybe they can convince a team to pay down a portion of Tua's remaining base salary. Maybe the Dolphins even compensate that team by giving them a draft pick. Think all the way back to when Brock Osweiler was traded from the Texans to the Cleveland Browns. And Houston actually sent Cleveland a second-round pick as part of that deal. For now, you get a three-game runway with Quinn Ewers to see if you have anything there. But the reality for Miami going forward is they probably will have to be like Denver and strike it on a young quarterback somewhere in the draft to get this franchise anywhere close to contention, because this 4-game winning streak they just recently had, solid. But this division they play in has two teams that probably aren't going anywhere anytime soon.
Yep. It's got to be about more than just the performance on the field. The last 3 years, Tua's 73 touchdowns, 28 picks. He's got 22, 23, and 24. All 3 of those years are a passer rating over 100. He was an MVP caliber player in 2023. We've seen
the same player this year?
No, but we've seen starting quarterbacks struggle. We have. And so for them to make this move, and it's a clear, like, hey, it's not only for this year, but it's very unlikely that you're our guy moving forward. it can't just be about he's having a bad season. There has to be things behind the scene that they know internally that we don't know publicly that are factoring to this, because we've seen starting quarterbacks struggle before. I would say this, not only for the Dolphins, but teams moving forward. Number one, who is Tua now after the injuries and after the headshots? That's not me trying to be hypersensitive.
It's a matter of fact.
You're going to have to ask yourself, because no, he's not the same player he was. I remember on our show 2 months ago saying he's just not triggering. He just won't throw the ball right now.
Yeah.
So if you're a team, it's like, well, who are we getting? Are we getting the guy that was an MVP in 2023? And then the second thing is, if we took Tua out of this very unique and finite system for him, what else can he play in scheme-wise? And I think that's going to be another question the Dolphins and another team will have to ask themselves.
This is the question I had about Tua when he made those press conference remarks about the culture of the team, right? Because this is now 2 cultures in a row that it seemed like he was criticizing or weren't right for him. And when you look at a quarterback, if I'm the Miami Dolphins, you bring Mike McDaniel in because Mike McDaniel says, you know what, I can get the best out of Tua. Have we seen the best out of Tua over that tenure? Absolutely we have.
Right.
The next question is that the best? Is he still developing in a way where we feel like his best play is in front of him? That's the hardest question you have to ask yourself.
I think
most people feel like no.
Can you get back to that best?
Yeah, and is that best enough as well, Dan? Because it's like, are you a problem solver on the field or are you a scheme beneficiary? Yeah. Because to your point, this scheme is tailor-made for his skill set. But the difference between them advancing past the wild card round in those best years is his ability to problem solve beyond that scheme, beyond that first or second read, and also probably in under 40-degree weather, because you got to go through Pittsburgh, you got to go through Buffalo, Kansas City, Baltimore, New England. The list goes on. And if I've seen this and I haven't seen what gets us to that next level, then it's an easy decision.
You know, it's worth pointing out, too, that Mike McDaniel has been very loyal to Tua even when he's struggled before. And when we were preparing for this Monday night game, we interviewed Mike McDaniel. We asked him specifically if he thought any of the head injuries had affected Tua, and his answer was, that would be really bad if I thought that, and no, I don't think that. Now, I'm not sure what we expect him to say there other than that he doesn't think that's affected things, but we did ask the question. I wanted to bring this to you guys from our Dolphins reporter, Marcel Louis-Jacques. Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa spoke to the media just moments ago, saying that he's naturally disappointed and not happy with this demotion, but gave a transparent assessment as to why it happened. Quote, I would say the biggest thing, and it's being honest with myself as well, has been my performance. I haven't been performing up to the level and the capabilities that I have in the past. He says it well, right? You know?
Yeah, I got a lot of respect for him owning it. You know, he knows that.
Yeah.
I think that's the big question is, he mentions it, the past. Can he get back to something that looks like the past? Because the past 3 years have been pretty darn good football. This year it fell off.
Yeah, we'll see what Quinn Ewers can do. I think Quinn Ewers might actually be really good in this offense. They don't ask a whole lot out of the quarterback either. Here's Joe Burrow today.
Is there any world in your mind where you're not the quarterback of the Bengals next year?
I can't see that, no.
Have you ever thought about the possibility of not being the quarterback here during your career, or?
You think about a lot of things.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. Adam, first of all, credit to Joe Burrow for answering these questions, but what do you make of hearing that from Joe Burrow, Adam?
We love the honesty. We appreciate the honesty. And last week we heard Joe Burrow talking about his fun or the lack of fun he was having in the game. And a lot of people wondered whether it was Andrew Luckish. This certainly sounds more Carson Palmer-ish than it does Andrew Luckish if we're looking to draw analogies between quarterbacks, and there continues to be conversation surrounding Joe Burrow's time in Cincinnati. He himself said he thinks and expects to be there next year, but all options now seem to be on the table. As for Lamar Jackson, he was kept home from practice again today in the latest Wednesday practice miss. John Harbaugh, the Ravens coach, said it was a flu deal that kept him home today. So with Lamar battling an illness, he was not there at practice today, and if the recent weeks follow, he'll be back sometime this week, and he will be available to play on Sunday. And the big story of the day came out of Miami, where the Miami Dolphins made a seismic move in benching Tua Tagovailoa, despite the contract ramifications, naming rookie quarterback Quinn Ewers their new starter, and saying that Zach Wilson now will serve as the number 2 quarterback, with Tua being the emergency third quarterback. This raises a whole host of questions surrounding Tua's future. He becomes the latest quarterback now to be facing an offseason in which his future is yet to be determined, joining quarterbacks like Kyler Murray, but there'll be plenty of storylines ahead with both Tua, with Kyler Murray, with all these quarterbacks in question, but it certainly seems like his time in Miami is coming to an end.
Yeah, interesting. It was fascinating what you illustrated off the top of the show about how they can break up some of that money that's owed to Tua. Here, new on NFL Live, Mike Vrabel talking about facing Lamar Jackson.
This is about, Lamar and the Ravens and what he can do and his ability to stay patient and calm and then deliver the football or burst. He rarely feels like anybody's going to be able to tackle him until he's ready to go down or to get out of bounds or to throw. That'll be a huge challenge, one that, we'll have to be ready for in multiple ways.
Okay, we did just hear the reporting field that Lamar Jackson's dealing with an illness, but he's missed a lot of these Wednesday's practice, as Adam said, and still been able to play. Can the Ravens get this offense going against that Patriots defense?
I think they can. They can do it on the ground, too, especially, Laura. This Patriots team got pushed around by the Buffalo Bills this past Sunday. James Hook had 3 total touchdowns, 2 of which came on the ground. This Patriots run defense went from an unbelievable strength to begin the season to an area of vulnerability of late. This Patriots team has been impacted by defensive front 7 injuries, most notably Milton Williams, their star defensive tackle. They've had some linebacker injuries, Robert Spillane amongst those. And Derrick Henry over the past 2 weeks has rushed for 194 yards. Say what you want about the passing game and some of the woes that Lamar Jackson has had since he came back from that prolonged injury absence. The running game has been effective. And by the way, it's not just Derrick Henry. They're getting some doses of speed bursts from both Keaton Mitchell and also Rasheen Ali. This Patriots team better find its defensive groove once again, or else this, once what felt like unlosable grip on the AFC East could go by the wayside.
Yeah, it feels like a big chance for a bounce back for them, right?
Sure does.
We have not seen them lose in a long time. Exactly.